In this effect, 4 matching cards are found to be inseparable, despite multiple attempts to lose them in the deck. This is utterly baffling. This is CoachTrick. Welcome to another amazing tutorial. Today's effect is one of those wonders that just defies belief. Better still, it's entirely self-working, contains no difficult moves or sleights, and is suitable for magicians of all skill levels. As ever, stay tuned to the end as we uncover how mastering magic can fuel your success beyond the cards. Okay, get ready to amaze. Grab a deck and let's go. Okay, so as ever, let's kickstart by taking a look at the effect itself. Now this is going to be a demonstration of the power of attraction. And we're going to start with a shuffle deck, so just hand the cards to the spectator. They can shuffle those cards as much as they like. With that done, you're now going to invite the spectator to choose a value of card from ace through to king. It's a totally free choice. And to remove all 4 cards from the deck corresponding to that value. So let's say in this instance they choose the kings, but they really can choose any card. They'll go through the deck and they're now just going to remove all of the 4 kings. So there's 2, there's 3, and there's 4. With that done, you're now going to ask the spectator to take those cards and just to place them under their hand like so, to try to charge them up, to try to transfer energy into those cards. And whilst the spectator is doing that, you're going to take the rest of the deck and divide it up into piles on the table. So let's just go through the cards. Let's say there's the first pile just there. There's the second pile just there. And let's see, let's say there's a third pile, and then that leaves just a few cards to place on the end just there. With that done, you now want to take the spectator's cards and lose those amongst these cards. So you're going to invite the spectator to take their first charged card, so the first king in this instance, and to place that on top of the first pile, and then to lose that by taking any number of cards from the second pile and placing those on top like so. And it's important to note that that really is a random number of cards. It's a totally free choice. You'll now invite them to take their second king in this instance, to place that on top of the second pile, and to lose that by taking any number of cards from the third pile and placing those on top like so. You'll now invite the spectator to take their third king in this instance, place it on top of the third pile, and then to lose that by placing the final pile on top like so. And with that done, you can just gather up the piles. That leaves a spectator with one final charged king just over here, and the reason for that will become clear just shortly. You can emphasize that the other kings are now well and truly lost in the deck. There's absolutely no way that anybody could know the position of those cards. But now you want to mix them up some more. So you're going to take the deck, and to start with, you're just going to deal 2 separate piles of cards to the table like so. So one card on top of the other, just into 2 piles. And you're just going to keep on dealing like this until you've dealt all of the cards. So just like so, almost there. And with that done, you can just neaten up the piles. Now we have 2 piles, we want to mix these up just a little bit more. So we're going to perform an old-fashioned shuffle. We're going to take one of the piles and we're going to deal 1 card on top of the other pile and then 1 card to the table. So 1 card on top and 1 card to the table. And we're going to repeat this for all of the cards. And this way, we're mixing and splitting and separating the cards all at the same time. Just like so. Now we have a larger pile and a smaller pile. We'll take this pile here and we'll repeat exactly the same. Just 1 on top and 1 to the table. And once again, I'm just going to repeat that for all of the cards. and we'll take the smaller pile and do exactly the same again. So one on top, one to the table. And this leaves us with just 3 final cards just here. And at this point, we can place the rest of the deck aside, and we can also bring in the spectator's final card. In this instance, the final king. We can now just quickly recap what's happened. From a shuffled deck, the spectator removed 4 cards of their choosing. It was a totally free choice. They then charged those cards up with their hand, whilst the rest of the deck was being divided. The spectator's cards were then lost and mixed amongst the rest of the deck, all with the exception of one final card, the final charged card just here. Now the power of this card is that it somehow has the ability to attract all of the other cards, no matter how much you try to lose them. So in this instance, despite all of the mixing, as long as we have the final king just here, all of the other kings will always come back together. And that is the power of attraction. A wonderful effect that's also super simple to perform. So stick around, because now I will show you exactly how it works. Okay, so let's take a look at the secret to this effect. Now you really do start with a shuffled deck, and that's what adds to the impact. Now you're going to ask the spectator to choose any value of card they like from ace through to king. It's a totally free choice. Let's say in this instance they choose the queens. You're going to ask them to remove all 4 cards from the deck corresponding to that value. So in this instance they're going to remove all 4 of the queens. With that done, you can just place these cards to the side and ask the spectator to cover them with their hand. You're now going to take the rest of the deck and you're going to form 4 piles of cards to the table. But here's exactly what you're going to do. For the first pile of cards, you need to secretly count 14 cards. Now you can do this either in the act of dealing the cards straight to the table, or you can just count them from the top. But for the first pile, you need 14 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Placing the first pile down like so. For the second pile, you need exactly 15 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now obviously don't count aloud, but just try to make it look like a natural part of separating the cards. Now for the third pile, you need 15 cards again. Now this is basically all of the cards except for the final 4 cards, and that just makes it a little bit easier to separate. So place the third pile down on the table, and then the final 4 cards just at the end. You can now invite the spectator to take the first of their cards, so in this instance the first queen, and to place that face down onto the first pile, then to take any number of cards that they like from the second pile and place these on top of the first pile. Now that really is a free choice. They can take any number of cards that they like. The spectator can then take their second card, so the second queen, place that face down onto the second pile, and then once again take any number of cards from the third pile and place these on top of the second pile. They can then take their third card and place that face down onto the third pile, and then take all of the cards from the fourth pile and place these on top, like so. You're now going to gather up the deck. You're going to take the first pile, place the second pile on top, and then the third pile on top of those. You're now going to take the deck and separate it into 2 piles on the table by dealing 2 separate piles. 1 card to the left and then 1 card to the right, and then you're just going to continue this for all of the cards. With that done, you're now going to take the first pile, the pile on your left, and you're just going to deal 1 card on top of the other pile and then 1 card to the table. And you're just going to repeat this for all of the cards. So 1 card on top and 1 to the table. You'll now take the first pile again, which is now noticeably smaller, and just repeat exactly the same. 1 card on top of the other pile and 1 card to the table, and repeat this again for all of the cards. With that done, you're now going to repeat that one final time. So take the first pile, one card on top of the other pile and one card to the table. And by the end of that, you should be left with 3 remaining cards. You can now remove the rest of the deck, you no longer need those cards, and you can bring in the spectator's final card alongside your final 3 cards. And all that's left to do now is to reveal the power of the final queen, as you reveal that all 3 other queens have miraculously come back together. Take this one, practice it, go out there, perform it, and of course, above all else, have fun. And there you have it. I hope this tutorial leaves you with more than just a trick. Magic shows us that things that appear out of reach might just be one small step away, waiting for us to uncover them. Each trick you master shows you how a little bit of practice and belief can turn the improbable into reality. Thanks for joining me today. Until next time, keep the magic alive and take care.